Podcast time! So your assignment for the small group part of the course is to create a podcast with your 4 or 5 teammates. So one of you is going to have to take the lead and probably have to download Audacity from the internet. Audacity is a free program that works on both PCs and Macs. And this is what it looks like once you open it. So we've got Audacity working here. And I've collected a whole bunch of audio from other sources. This audio here is from the site I gave you, the YouTube free audio and music and soundtrack kind of things that you can use. You probably have to sign in for that to get that. Here's some of my research materials. They're just PDF files. So Kathleen Edelmeyer from the Communication Arts Department recorded this on her Android phone. My daughter Laura recorded this on an iPhone. So those are two easy ways to get files to bring in. So your teammates can record some of their information or their podcast portion on an iPhone and then send it to you, either in an email or text or whatever. So you're going to bring these into Audacity. So that's two easy ways to record information and get it on there. So remember, you've got a 10-minute podcast. Everyone has to have some kind of part of the presentation. So again, if you've got 4 people in it, that's about 2.5 minutes each. If you've got 5 people, it's about 2 minutes each. All right, you're going to go out and interview 2 people for your podcast. If you want to record them and sort of include some of their material, go ahead. You don't have to. That's kind of tricky to sort of have your talking and then bring in some sound clips from other people. If you want to tackle that, that's fine. So just keep it in mind that it doesn't have to be this terribly onerous assignment to do. All right, so we're dealing with podcasts and audio on that. So I'm going to lay my first track in, basically introduce the podcast by using Audacity itself. So I'm going to hit the record button and do my introduction. I'm going to use a couple of statistics to start the podcast, or my portion of the podcast. 1 in 3 people, according to the Annenberg Policy Center, cannot name one of the 5 freedoms guaranteed in the First Amendment. 43% of Americans believe that college campuses should be able to prohibit controversial speakers from speaking on campus. All right, so I started it by hitting this, hit the space bar to end it. So now I have a track in here of my voice. So if I click back here on the I-bar thing, I can sort of hit the space bar right there. 1 in 3 people, according to the Annenberg Policy Center, cannot... All right. You'll notice I got a whole bunch of dead space here. I really don't want that. So again, using this sort of I-bar, I can go in here, get that sort of dead space, and just hit the delete key on my keyboard. You notice I have some dead space here as well. And I can delete that as well. So now I don't have all that dead airtime going in. Okay. So I told you may want to sort of jazz up your podcast with some music or sound effects. So I'm going to drop this song in that I downloaded from that YouTube site. I'm just going to pop it right in there. So now you see I've got a sound in here. And if I hit the space bar, according to the Annenberg Policy Center, I've got overlap. One of the 5 freedoms guaranteed. So I can mute one of the tracks. And I've got the song. Right. So I don't want to use all 1.5 of this or whatever it is. I just want to use part of it. So I'm going to go back in and cut from like here and get rid of all this. And just hit the delete key, and that's gone now. Right. So I still have overlap here, so I don't want that to happen. So what I want to do is I want to move my track after the musical introduction. I'm going to go to this, the 2-way arrow thing. There are technical terms for this, but I don't know what they are. So I'm going to just grab my track. Got to unmute it first. And I'm going to move it. And you can see the little yellow line when you line things up where one ends and the other one begins. So now, if I go back to that I-bar, 1 in 3 people, according to the Annenberg Policy. Right. You can play around with the music and have it fade in and fade out. So if you really want to get sophisticated with Audacity, you can. Right. So here's my introduction. I'm probably going to go on for my 2 minutes and talk about different things. And then I might hand it off to Kathleen. So if I was recording, I'd record my whole 2-minute spiel and then say, and now Kathleen Edelmeyer will talk about free speech from her point of view. And then Kathleen will come in. So I'm going to drag hers in. Again, this was with an Android phone. And I'm just going to pop that in there. So I've created another track. You'll notice now that the track from the phone is only mono. It's not stereo. So you can create this whole thing in mono. This file will be smaller, and that's perfectly fine. So you can also bring these things in and make a mono. Right? But now if I put all these things together, we're going to have music, and Kathleen will be speaking over it. I don't want that. So I'm going to go here and move hers to line up with mine at the end there. So I've got music, my intro, and then Kathleen's. And again, you notice that there's a lot of sort of dead space here at the beginning of hers. I'm going to go in there and just delete that. So hers starts right after mine. And I could go in here and maybe delete some of the other dead air if you'd like. So listen to it and see if you want to do those kind of things. So I'm just scrolling over now. Right, so I've got about a minute 5, minute 6 or 7 on this. Now I'm going to bring in Laura's as well. So I'm just going to go to my file. And they can email these to you or put it in a text message or whatever. Email seems to be really easy. And I'm just going to drop hers in. All right, so Laura is now in there. I'm going to go back in here. And I'm going to grab Laura's, and I'm going to move that to the end of Kathleen's. And again, you should have a little yellow line showing up once you do that. There we go. So Kathleen's will end. I'm going to get rid of a little bit. Go back to the I-bar, get rid of that. Delete it. So I'm going to go back here.
Both disagree with. For me, the connection between free speech and so...
Okay. So you notice once I deleted that, that doesn't line up anymore. So I'm going to delete a little bit more here. Get rid of that. And I'm going to move it back to where it lines up with Kathleen's. Now you could put a little musical interlude in there or something else to sort of signal a transition. I leave it up to you. I'm not going to grade you on your Audacity sophistication skills, but you want to put together something that's kind of listenable and easy. So again, you're aiming for 10 minutes. So 9.5 minutes to 10.5 minutes would be perfect. I want an introduction, some kind of conclusion. I'd like a little bit of music or something to bridge it or to introduce things. Have fun, play around with this. It's very easy. And when you are done with it, you're going to go up to your file menu. You really can't see it because I didn't include that part. And you're going to go to export. And you're going to export as an MP3. And you give it a name. Let me PodcasttutorialCOM1050. You might want to put your topic in. So mine is free speech. I'm going to put it on my desktop. And these things should be all fine. And I'm going to put this file in the folder so you can hear the finished product that I just created if you wanted to. So I'm going to save it. So it's 2 stereo channels in the exported file. That's fine with me. Click OK. I can put all these tags in it if you want. I really don't want to do any of that. And that's how quickly it takes to Audacity to download that file. All right, so you can listen to the file when you get a chance. It's not really polished or sophisticated, but this is how easy it is. So one of you in the group is going to have to sort of be the lead producer of this and have everyone sort of ship it to you. Good luck with the assignment. Have fun. And you're going to create a podcast.